Welcome to Friendly Math 101. Today our lesson is on finding critical points from vertex form. Let's review what vertex form looks like. Here we have vertex form, and we often use vertex form to identify transformations of quadratic functions. But we could also find some important information about our graph, such as the vertex. The vertex, when we're given vertex form, is our h value paired with our k value. So the h value is a little bit tricky because, as you can see, vertex form has that subtraction symbol in it. And so we have to keep in mind that the sign is going to be a little bit tricky with the h value, but we'll address that more once we get to the examples. Our axis of symmetry is always going to be x equals whatever our h value is, because the axis of symmetry cuts through the x value of our vertex. We will also know whether or not our graph has a max or a min based off of our a value. If our a value is positive, that means our graph opens upwards, which means our graph has a minimum. If a is negative, our graph opens downwards, which means our graph has a maximum. Let's apply these concepts to some examples. Here's our first example, and let's start with our vertex. Remember, vertex is the h value and the k value. Here it looks like our h value is a -4 because of the sign here, but remember, vertex form already had that negative sign, or that subtraction symbol. So our h value is actually +4 and our k value is 7. The axis of symmetry always cuts through the middle of our vertex. And so if you want a visual, this is what it looks like. It's an invisible line that cuts right through. Therefore, it's always x equals whatever the x value of our vertex is. So in this example, it's x equals 4. And since our a value is positive, we know that our graph opens upward, which means we have a min. Let's take a look at another example. All right, so again, let's start with the vertex. The vertex is our h and our k combined. So here it looks like our h value is a +5, but you have to remember we have a minus sign in vertex form. And so this is actually minus a -5, and that's how it became +5. So in this example, our h value is actually -5, and our k value is still the k value, which is -11. Our axis of symmetry, remember, axis of symmetry is actually an equation of a line. It's not a point or a number, so it's x equals whatever our h value is, which is -5. And since our a value here is negative, it means our graph opens downward, which means this function has a maximum. It has a high point instead of a low point. All right, well, that concludes our lesson on finding critical points from vertex form. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave those questions in the comment section below. And for more math tutorials, subscribe to our channel, Friendly Math 101.